Let's talk about Palestine, big issue. Does Cuba believe that Israel is committing a genocide in Gaza? And what does Cuba think the international community should be doing about what's happening in Gaza?
Absolutely. It's a genocide. It's the great crime of the 21st century, in the eyes of everybody. The difference with World War II and Hitler was that most of the information came out after the war. Yeah. Today it's happening in the face of everybody. It's an issue of shame, we believe, for the international community and for the UN, because of the incapacity of the UN to act. And it can't act because the main instrument of the UN is the Security Council, where the allies of Israel, the allies of the genocide, have a capacity of veto. And they make the UN impotent.
What is Cuba's relationship like with the Palestinians? It goes back a long way, and I believe your foreign minister, who will be speaking at the UN in the coming days, will be addressing this at length.
He will be addressing.
So what is the relationship? Tell our viewers a little bit about what is the relationship between Cuba and the Palestinian people?
Well, first of all, we recognize the state of Palestine. We've had a very long relationship since the early 60s, even before the war of 1967, with the people of Palestine, with the PLO at the time. We've trained doctors, teachers, engineers from Palestine for years at no cost for them. Our political position is to believe in the need for a two-state solution with the borders prior to 1967, with the right of return of the refugees, and with the capital in East Jerusalem. That is our formal position. We oppose all aggression and the slaughter of the past almost 80 years against the people of Palestine.
We're speaking here, UNGA week, UN General Assembly week. This is the same week that the French, the British, the Australian and Canadian governments are coming out and saying we recognize a Palestinian state. What do you make of that declaration from these Western powers?
We believe that there is an increasing realization that is the will of their respective populations, and they're responding to the will of people of wanting to recognize what's evident. The people of Palestine need recognition. They're not a non-existent entity or nation.
You said earlier that it's definitely a genocide. What's happening is horrific. We're seeing it in front of our eyes. Do you support the International Criminal Court arrest warrants for Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and former Israeli Defense Minister Yoav Gallant?
Yes, we do.
But Cuba's not a signatory to the ICC. No, Israel says they're not a signatory, but you're not a signatory either.
We're not a signatory because we believe it's an instrument basically used against developing countries. Since the beginning, we thought it was going to be so.
So why do you support it in this case?
No, we support an action against it. They should be incriminated any court around the world. They're criminals.
But a court you don't recognize. Shouldn't Cuba sign up to the ICC to give it more legitimacy?
Well, we're not an active supporter of it, but if you ask it intellectually, do we support? Of course.